Have you ever wondered what a county commissioner does? Have you ever wondered why a county commissioner matters to your life? I'm Jean Hamilton. I'm a county commissioner in Orange County, North Carolina. I was elected in 2020. I'm running for re-election unopposed in 2024. My aim is to create some videos that provide education about what a county commissioner does and why a county commissioner matters in your life. It is my hope that this information may help residents in Orange County and maybe outside of Orange County understand the role of county commissioners and why voting the full ballot this November is so important. In the first episode, I covered the basics of the county and how county commissioners are elected. In this episode, I want to discuss the role of a county commissioner, some of the services that the county provides, and how we fund those services. So I want to start by letting you know that in Orange County, North Carolina, we operate under the council-manager form of local government, which means that the elected governing body, the Board of County Commissioners, appoints or hires a county manager who runs the day-to-day functions of county government. The county manager is a professional who hires other staff. Orange County employs more than 1,000 people. The county manager is responsible to make sure services are delivered and proposes the annual budget to the Board of County Commissioners. So a couple more facts to keep in mind as I move on to the role of the county commissioner is one, that counties in North Carolina are an arm of the state, and therefore they only can exercise powers that have been explicitly granted to them by the state. And any leeway there is also has to be granted by the state. And number two, county commissioners act as a body, as a collective body. So I, as an individual commissioner, may want to give more money to the schools, but I can't do that on my own. I have to get at least 3 other commissioners to agree with me to change a policy or change the budget. So what are the primary duties of a county commissioner? Well, number one is hiring the county manager. And in addition, we also directly hire the county clerk and the county attorney. We evaluate county needs and services. We adopt the annual budget. That usually happens in June. The fiscal year for the county runs from July 1st to June 30th. We also establish the annual property tax. Right? In addition, we establish the fire district tax rate and various fees. County commissioners also enact local ordinances. We appoint various officials and representatives to advisory boards and commissions. And we also serve on various advisory boards and commissions beyond just serving on the Board of County Commissioners. So now I want to move on to county services. So the county offers an array of services from education to human services to social services, public safety, community services, planning, and general government services. There is a list that is being shown on your screen. I'm just going to read through that list. Aging, animal services, bids and county surplus, child support services, economic development services, election services, employment services, facility services, government services, housing services, inspection services, land records and GIS services, library services, public assistance, social safety net services, public safety services, recreation services, recycling and disposal, register of deeds services, taxation services, transportation services, and veteran services, right? There are a lot of services, and that actually is not the full list. There are other services as well. And how do we pay for all those services? Given the role, 69% come from property taxes, 15% from sales taxes, 7.5% are intergovernmental transfers. That is money that comes from the state and federal governments. And these statistics come from our fiscal year 24-25 budget. So, right, you can see right there that really the main function of a Board of County Commissioners, and so of a commissioner, is to determine the level of property taxes and other taxes and fees to pay for the services needed and wanted by the community. So I want to just highlight one service that is an important service for the county. And it's one that's not even on the list that I read earlier. And this is education. And if you look at the pie chart that is on the screen that looks at general fund appropriation by functional leadership team, that education really is the largest percentage of what we spend on. And so why is education not on the list? Well, because it's a service that the county doesn't directly provide. Our two school districts, Orange County Schools and Chapel Carbon City Schools, have their own school boards that are elected that determine how educational services are delivered for those school districts. However, in North Carolina, school boards do not have funding authority. They have to come to the county commissioners for that. And so, right, there's tension because of that, but it means that that is where a large proportion of our county tax dollars go. And in addition, and that doesn't even cover all the cost for the school, because schools need a substantial amount of money from the state and some federal dollars as well to have the budget to provide educational services for Orange County children. And I will add that the taxpayer money also covers public charter schools. You may ask, where does the school bond fit? Because we have a school bond referendum this 2024. So for large capital projects, like building new school facilities or replacing and renovating new school facilities, it is more financially advantageous to borrow to build those facilities. Just like to build our house, we borrow money. A bond is just a financial debt instrument that is used by the county to borrow that money. And the payment, when it's a general obligation bond that's in referendum, that means that we're going to be paying it back from our property tax money. And, on the pie chart about how money is spent, it's that debt fund category where that debt service will be found. So why do we have government provide these services? Why do we tax ourselves for these services? Again, not just education, all the other services we do as well. Well, government services provided are services that would not be provided or underproduced in the private market, right? And most of the services that our county provides have positive externalities. So a positive externality, and going a little into economic speak, happens when an individual household or firm benefits from an economic transaction that they are not a part of. There's a classic example of the beekeeper and the orchard farmer. The bees help pollinate the apple orchard, and then the apple orchards help the bees make honey. So just taking education for one, right, has a positive externality, meaning that I don't benefit from that just from having my own children educated. I benefit by having other people's children benefited, from my neighbors' children as well, because all of them are the future workforce that will help us pay for the government services, but also, that child may be the nurse that takes care of me when I'm older and needs more assistance. Our health department, right, when it identifies infectious diseases and stops the spread of that, it benefits all of us. When our public safety identifies and stops threats, it benefits everyone. So I've only briefly highlighted some of these services, but you really think about it, of the social, public safety, human service, arts, recreation, right? Of all the services that Orange County provides, some which are highly visible to the majority of us, some that are less visible, like some of the social safety net services, but they all benefit the community, and collectively paying for these through taxes is the most effective way to fund them. So, to answer some of the questions I posed earlier, what does a county commissioner do? A county commissioner is one of 7 members of the Board of County Commissioners in Orange County. The board determines, oversees, and funds county services for residents, as well as enacts local ordinances that regulate and coordinate the actions of residents and businesses. We determine how our tax dollars are spent for services that benefit Orange County. So why does this matter in your life? Because it's really county services are really the foundation that determine our everyday, current, and future quality of life. And why is voting the full ballot so important? The board has limited taxing authority and really little leeway to making sure taxation is equitable. We need more state and federal funds to provide the services, especially the services that are mandated by the state, like education, like public health, and the services that are mandated by the federal government, certain social services. We need more funds to do that, because those funds help provide services that benefit not just folks in Orange County, but also across the state of North Carolina and the United States. So I'm going to end there. I thank you for your time and attention. I hope this episode is helpful. Please learn more about the services that your tax money pays for. Go to orangecountync.gov. There is a wealth of information about what we do, and I'm always looking for feedback to hear how we can do a better job and use our money most effectively. Thank you very much. A reminder, early voting goes to November 2nd. Election day is November 5th. If you've already voted, thank you. If you haven't, please go out and vote and make sure someone else votes with you.